We know millions of people cruise each year. They don't have any issues, no problems. But we also know that this industry has been fraught with criminal lawsuits. In fact, our next guest, Michael Winkleman, is a maritime attorney out of Miami whose firm represents multiple victims in so many calamities and problems. And Michael, I believe you may be signing some people from this tragedy. Have you confirmed that or not?
At this point, no, we haven't confirmed that, but I would say it's a distinct possibility, yes.
With everything you know, all of the legal work you have done on the high seas involving cruise lines, when you saw this in the morning paper, when you saw this online, how surprised were you that something like this could have happened?
Oh, I was far more than surprised, Jeff. I would say that I was shocked. I mean, I woke up Saturday morning to see this. It was the first thing that I saw, and I really couldn't believe my eyes. Just an unbelievably tragic and terrifying event. And I think it's really the tip of the iceberg for these passengers and the crew members that were injured. My thoughts and prayers go out to them, and I know that it's really the beginning of what can be a difficult process for them.
Well, and forgive the pun when I say that from a legal standpoint, aren't these passengers, let's talk about the U.S. passengers, aren't they in truly murky waters, because they really are not going to be able to walk into a U.S. court and file a lawsuit like they would somewhere else?
Well, look, they can walk into court, they can file the lawsuit, but it's going to be a question that ultimately boils down to 10 pages of tiny little print called the passenger cruise ticket contract. Anytime you go on any cruise, you basically, I know you never read it, you never see it, but you are subject to the terms and conditions of that agreement, and there's a lot of ways that can really harm passengers here. The first of which being, instead of there being what's usually a 4-year statute of limitations or time within to bring a case, you have to bring it in 1 year. But the big one here says that you have to bring it in the case in Genoa, Italy, although it's our intent, should the circumstances be there, which I think they will be, to challenge that in Miami, Florida.
Well, and I'm sure you will, and I've read about other challenges to the 11th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals where they said, sorry, you're still going to have to try this abroad. My final question, Michael, what would you tell passengers before they decide to sign that contract and get a ticket?
Well, unfortunately, it's like all big corporations, and like anything, when you go on iTunes, you want to buy a song, you have to agree to it. So there's no real choice. If you want to go on a cruise, you have to agree to it. But what I would say is, just don't leave your common sense in your heads at the port. Bring it with you. And cruises are great. Cruises can be safe, but I think when situations like this happen, there can be difficult hurdles that they have to overcome.
All right,
but they can be overcome.
All right. Michael Winkleman, attorney from Miami, Florida, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it. I was reading another article. There are so many articles, everybody, that you can find on the internet about whether they're building these ships.